Hey, are you into the Little League World Series? How about El Segundo? They're still alive. They improved to 4-1, 2-1 tonight with a big victory in Williamsport over the team from Washington. Go El Segundo, representing California. They go to the U.S. Championship game on Saturday against Texas, the only team to beat them, by the way. So it's revenge for El Segundo and California. See if they can win it and get to the championship of the world at Little League at the World Series. I'm Randy Rosenbaum, along with Tarek Fatal of the Daily News. We're talking not anymore the Daily News. It's Habit.
I would have let you slide. You slide.
It's SB Live, formerly of the Daily News. It's just automatic.
I know.
Speaking of automatic, how about King Drew's flag football team with the opportunity to play at SoFi Stadium? Rams, Raiders, they get to play at halftime. They stun Crenshaw. Crenshaw's this team that played in the Pilot Flag Football League last year. A lot of people felt they were the best team, but in an 8-minute exhibition, King Drew beat them 6-0.
I think when we found out that flag football was going to be a sanctioned sport for the southern section and the city section, we were really excited about this. We knew there'd be a draw, and what a great opportunity to get excited about something like girls flag football with an opportunity for them to play at SoFi.
Thank you, Tarek Fatal of SB Live. You like that? Was that good?
That was good. Yeah, okay. More of that.
You get a lot of that. Let's meet Camille Sosa.
Yes.
Obviously in her first year of flag football at King Drew. Smiling face, nice lady. Nice to meet you this week, Camille, and thanks for joining us. And congratulations. What was the experience like playing at SoFi against the Cougars of Crenshaw?
It was a surreal experience, coming out of the tunnel, running onto the field, trying not to be stunned by the lights and the huge crowd. Obviously, it's a Raiders-Rams game, so it was a packed house. But the experience was definitely more like something that the girls will remember forever. I know that.
In your time as the girls flag football coach, talk about maybe one of the biggest challenges of getting these girls to learn the sport. For those out there that know that there's no blocking, right? It's pretty much like a passing, heavy-oriented sport. Talk about the challenges of teaching that.
Honestly, I grew up watching football, and so the not being able to block or screen for the quarterback was hard for me to even grasp that concept. So fortunately, we did have a few girls on the team that have played before, whether it's in the community parks and recs kind of association that they played before. A few girls played during the pilot season last year as well. But teaching the fundamentals is a lot of fun. We have, the drills set up to teach them about capturing their flags and to run routes. And so it's been a lot of fun developing the skills of the girls.
All right, you had a young lady by the name of Passmore. Your quarterback's named Passmore, but her sister apparently scored the winning touchdown, the only score. Passmore ran it in. I think that's a little ironic.
Ran it in.
But your two star players are these sisters, the Passmores?
Definitely some of our star players, absolutely. Tiana, she is our quarterback, Tiana Passmore, and she we did a double reverse play on our second play of the game, and her sister Anaya ran the ball all the way down for the touchdown. It was an amazing play, hyped us up, definitely got us ready for the rest of the scrimmage that we had. And so, yeah, definitely two of our star players going out there and starting the game off right.
Coach, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think a fair question for coaches, at least this year, it's really early, but do you see girls flag football being something where these girls, right now it's just kind of playing, winning, and then that's really it. But maybe in the future, are there scholarship opportunities at the college level? Is there more to play for than just, hey, I played girls flag football or I won a city title or a southern section title? Do you think there's going to be more out there for these girls to pursue in this sport?
Absolutely. We actually already had a player from King Drew who played in the pilot season last season, and she's playing this year in college. So it's definitely something that our athletes are looking forward to continuing. It's not just a club for them. It's not just a hobby. They're very competitive. They go out there to win. So it's exciting to see the season kick off the way it did for us. That was our first scrimmage at SoFi. But they're definitely looking forward to playing in league and showing what they can do, competing against other schools for longer periods than just the 8 minutes that we had at SoFi.
Well, Camille, congratulations. I know on Monday you got your regular game against Dorsey. Normal 20-minute running clock halves. Best of luck. I'm sure you're going to be a factor. And as you know, LA 36 will have the city championships in November. So if your team's there, we'll be calling you back and getting a lot of info on your young ladies. Best of luck on Monday, and congratulations for the win against Crenshaw.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Awesome.
It's great.
No, I think it's great.
I
always knew that I always felt like the girls' flag football would pick up a lot of traction. And I'm telling you, if there's something, if it picks up more traction, like scholarship opportunity at the next level, these universities are offering scholarships to play girls' flag football, women's flag football, I think we'll see it ramp up even more.
However, the boys play pretty good football too around here in Southern California. And Mater Dei got the season started going to Corona Centennial in 0 week and really did a number on the Huskies. They went out to a 21-0 lead, kind of labored a little bit in the fourth quarter, but went on to win it 28-14. Very impressive victory for top-ranked Mater Dei.
Yes, it was a good win. I was actually more impressed with Corona Centennial. I was there. I'll be honest with you, Randy. I was watching this game, and I didn't look out there and go, wow, this is the #1 high school football team. I get it, and you're right. That's a fair point. They're only going to get better, but so is Corona Centennial. And for them to be within a touchdown of the #1 ranked team with 4 minutes to go, hey, the Huskies did their thing too. Everyone's going to get better. It was a great week 0 opener.
Yeah, Elijah Brown, a solid game, although he started slow. The quarterback, 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Davidson, the running back.
He was great.
Close to 100 yards and a score. You liked him.
Oh, he was good. I would say Mater Dei probably would have scored more points if they relied on the run more. Elijah Brown is their star quarterback. You got to throw it. If they would have ran more, it might have been a little more lopsided.
And you got to meet Fred McManus. I know that wasn't easy during the week.
Yes, Frank McManus was a really, really nice guy, and it was hard to get a hold of him. You had a hard time getting a hold of him for this show. I know that Bally's, the commentators, Tony Moskal, they had a hard time getting a hold of him. Finally got a hold of him on that night, and he was very, very nice.
All right, the other team that was so great last year, St. John Bosco, #2 in the country. Very good football team again, and they won. They played a team from out of state. Their whole schedule's like that. They hooked up with Liberty of Nevada and won the game handily. In St. John Bosco, they've won 16 straight games out of state against quality opponents. Now they get St. Thomas Aquinas this week, who's the last team to beat them. There it is. This is impressive. That's a good Liberty team.
I think when you are of the elk, that's a word you like to use. When
Elk.
you're the elk of those national powers, you've got to seek out other national powers. And that's what St. John Bosco did. They are playing 5 out-of-state teams before they go into Trinity League play. What does that say? They're always looking for the biggest, baddest game. And this week they're in Fort Lauderdale. So they had to go far to get it.
All right, Sierra Canyon with a win, 9-7 over Jay Sarah. 2 solid football teams. I think on paper you would have thought maybe Jay Sarah would not stay with this fine football team from Sierra Canyon to this point. Not the kind of game we expected.
Definitely not the game we expected. I think Sierra Canyon was expected to score more. But, hey, that's a game they lost last week. So John Ellinghaus would say, the head coach at Sierra Canyon would say, hey, we got better. That team beat us last year, and here we are, and we got the win. We'll take it how we can get it. And kind of to your point, Randy, it's week 0, so a lot of things can go wrong.
Larry's the producer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, he was in my ear.
He's always in our ear. He was in my ear because I said you were from the other place. You're no longer there. It's SB Live. Okay, last year was the Daily News. Guy's moving up in the world. Helix over Edison, 38-34. I bring this game up because really Edison put up a nice fight against Helix from San Diego, which is a tremendous power. So this is a very good opening game to go to San Diego and play them to a 4-point game. The other game we want to talk about is St. Francis 58, West Ranch 13. West Ranch was really good last year, won a lot of games to begin the year. Very great program out at West Ranch, out in the Santa Clarita Valley. But St. Francis has a quarterback in John Sanders that everybody's fallen in love with.
He was pretty much the story of week 0. He had never started a varsity game before, and I think he threw for 5 and ran for 1. He had 6 touchdowns in his varsity debut as the quarterback for St. Francis. And I just say Dean Harrington's at it again. Guys, Dean Harrington is someone that's coached, I think, Kyle Bowler and a couple other Vernon Davis is another one that he's coached. So Vernon Adams, I think his name is. But either way, Dean Harrington's just kind of a guru when it comes to quarterback. He's got another one on his hands, John Sanders.
Yeah, Kyle Bowler played in the NFL and was great. No question about that. So St. Francis out in La Cañada looks to have a pretty good football team. That's going to take us to our southern section, CIF Top 10. We'll roll through this quickly, and again, it's Mater Dei on top in St. John Bosco. There's the top 10. Corona Centennial doesn't fall after the loss, and they shouldn't. Poly won a game in Hawaii last week, so forth and so on down. Any comments there?
I did want to make a comment. So I dropped Sierra Canyon a little bit, and I think Orange Lutheran moved up significantly. Why? Because they thumped Sarah of Gardena, and I thought that was really impressive.
It is.
They deserve to move up. And Oaks Christian moved up a little bit, too. They thumped Chaminade. So a little bit of movement in that top 10.
All right, let's take a look at some great performances this past week. And I was just intrigued by the name, maybe as much as the performance. Anthony League. He's in a league of his own.
Yep.
You like that, huh? Los Alamitos scores 63 points and absolutely does a number on Western. 6 touchdowns rushing. I mean, he was spectacular.
You know what? I don't have the numbers in front of me. How many carries? I don't think it took an
I want to say 14.
Yeah, something wild, like less than 20 carries to get over 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. So it just goes to show you how good he is, and when he finds a gap, he's through it and into the end zone.
It's a good week for running backs. Is this the year of the running back? I don't know.
Could be.
But you can see the pretty big hole there for him to run through. And the acceleration isn't bad either for number 25. How about the name, though? I mean, that's a great name. A League, Anthony League.
I think what this helps for sure is they've got a new quarterback in Alonzo Esparza who transferred from Sierra Canyon. Anytime you establish a good running game, it'll open things up for the quarterback.
Isaiah Rameau is outstanding at Chatsworth, over 200 yards. Easy win over Monroe. I think you're going to see throughout the year that he has a big season. Isaiah Rameau is a talented player. And again, they beat the Vikings of Monroe easily. They see Bell's numbers, 219 and 4 touchdowns. And he also on defense got a pick for Crespi over Grace Brethren in a wonderful game.
Can I mention something about Grace Brethren? This is a team that was a perennial power, dissipated overnight, had to go to 8-man football for 2 years. Now they're back to 11-man football. They had 33 kids on that night, Randy, and half of them had never played football before.
Right.
And they took Crespi to double overtime. I know we're highlighting Domain Bell, that's fantastic, but for half a team that's ever played 11-man football to take Crespi to double overtime, I felt like that was a story that night.
All right, another guy to talk about is the quarterback out at St. John Bosco, Caleb Sanchez, because he was replacing some good players there, and he comes in and gets the job done. There was a question about Bosco's quarterback spot, and he obviously was outstanding against Liberty, and they're his numbers. Brady Smigels, the guy who threw 46 touchdowns as a freshman last year, picks up where he left off, throws for over 300 yards, and 7 scores against Golden Valley. Torched them. 4 of those touchdowns to his brother, Bo. Jarrett Nielsen, 548 yards and 5 touchdowns. Long Beach Jordan over North Torrance big. And Roman Lascala threw the ball well, 2 touchdowns for Palisades. Yikes, in a shutout victory over El Camino Real. And that reminds me, in just a moment or two, we're going to meet Mr. Sobolic, the head coach.
Jason Sobolic,
we
that's
love
right.
Jason Sobolic.
One of the best ones in the city, man.
And he brings his great tight end, Jake Shirley, with him as well. But before we get to Jason Zabolic, who's out there recruiting wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster was a great football player at Long Beach Poly. Went on to the NFL. He was the Super Bowl hero in a way. He was the guy that got fouled on the pass interference call when Mahomes threw him the ball. Later, the Chiefs scored and beat the Eagles. Juju Smith-Schuster had a football camp at Long Beach Poly, and we visited with him. Take a look.
The award goes out to the MVP, most valuable player today. This person came in with a great attitude, came to work, showed a lot of, talent, skills, you name it.
Today we are putting on our 3rd annual Juju Foundation football camp. It's really important for Juju to just come back and give back to the community. And of course, obviously, the highlight of it is that it's free.
I mean, the question, I feel like, to tell a lot of people, why not come back to Long Beach Poly? Obviously, this is my home ground. This is where I grew up at. This is where I played. As a kid, I used to come to Long Beach Poly just so I could be in these camps. Guys like William McGinnis and ex-Long Beach Poly players would come back and give back to the kids, and I saw that, and I was in a position at once. Now I'm in a position where I could be a role model and give back, and it's honestly just more so just it's not about me, it's about the kids, about them getting the experience of what I've been through, and me coming back here and showing love, to my hometown, never forgetting where I came from. So, the question is, why not come back to a school that shows so much love to me? What I hope is come to camp is obviously the education on why they're doing what they're doing. They're not just here running out, running around and doing drills. It's more so for them to understand. Today we did about 8 stations, and the stations were all different: receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, O-line, D-line. Because I think at young kids, a lot of kids play both ways, inside, outside, both sides. So they kind of get the experience of, I might be a better linebacker than a D lineman, but they didn't know that until today. So it's really cool that they get the education of that part, but they also get to learn about, competing with one another, teamwork, and it's the whole shebang. They're also fun while they're doing it. Today we did tug of war, we did tic-tac-toe, relays. So it's just a lot of fun things that we can get, these kids to, that competitiveness is not just in football, it's just in life itself. What do you want me to sign your back? I got you.
It's great, giving back to his old school, the Jackrabbits, who have had so many pros. Juju Smith-Schuster, just one of those, and it's great that he's back on campus helping out everybody at Long Beach Poly. Well, Tarek, it's time to talk about our football game that we're going to have Saturday night. Heritage Christian and El Camino Real. El Camino Real is actually the home team, but they're playing the game at Heritage Christian because ECR still doesn't have a field that's available. It's going through some I don't
it's
know
actually
what to
not.
call it.
It's actually not.
Fixed,
it's actually not going through anything. That's the whole story.
That's the problem. I mean, it's what do you call that field?
I don't know, man. It's just sitting there
burned to a
collecting
crisp,
dust
really.
right now. Yeah. We'll talk to Jason a little bit about
Let's
that.
bring Jason Sobolic and Jake Shirley in and see what they have to say about their home facility and when it's going to happen. Coach, welcome to the program. Jake, good to see you again. Jason, I know it didn't start the way you wanted, losing to Palisades. How's it been going this week? Are you ready for Saturday night?
Well, first of all, good evening, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to get a chat with the two of you, and I really get to look forward to having these types of conversations, first and foremost. So thank you for having us on, number one. Number two, the preparation continues, regardless of what we are given. The way that life, gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade out of it, no matter what. And we're putting our best foot forward. And I think we got a good shot going up against a great team at Heritage Christian. Coach Huff and I have known each other for quite a while. We have actually the past couple of summers gone over to Heritage Christian when we're not in pads and done a full-on dual team practice with 7-on-7, 11-on-11, ones-on-ones. And it's really been a good competitive match. And so this year we get a chance to play them in pads. And I think we stack up very well against them.
That's 7 o'clock Saturday night, and we'll have the game. All right, Jake, tell me the truth. Is it tough to practice on the baseball field? Does that bother you? I mean, it is a little bit different, or does it not matter?
In my opinion, it's not where we play. It's who's playing, and everyone's really bought into the team over at El Camino. And I'm really proud of the group of guys that we have battling throughout a lot of adversity over these last few years. I mean, it's some sad stuff to see coming from a school that, maybe not the most illustrious football past, but in hindsight, there really just needs to be more accountability from everyone involved, because it's just sad. As a player who's been playing for 4 years on varsity, 2 of those years I have not had a home field, and the school spirit has definitely been decreased for everyone involved. So that's sad to see.
Jake, as a senior, I could totally understand how morale is down because soccer can't use their home field, football can't use their home field, lacrosse, you can't play your home games on campus. That's got to be brutal. But you are a senior and you are a leader. So how is it that you can find a way to cultivate your team to look beyond that and focus on Fridays or in this case, a Saturday game?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the main goal for me as a leader of the team, I'm trying to look at what we have and build upon that. We might not have a field, but we have a group of guys who are bought into the program and who are looking to win big games. So when you look at that, when you look at it from that perspective, it sort of makes it better in a way, because it's hard, as we all have seen, but when you have these guys that come together, it really makes it special for all of us, and we're able to fight through adversity in a special way, and I think we're going to see that coming soon. Saturday nights, Friday nights, we're going to see some W's.
Let us tell you that Jake's a really good football player. I mean, he's not the problem for El Camino. Great defensive end, tremendous tight end, had 9 catches for nearly 100 yards last week. Jake gets it done. The question mark really right now is you got a very young quarterback coach in Kevin Hawkins. Big, tall, drink of water at 6'3". Jason, what's his upside? He's just a sophomore.
I mean, you said it right there. You hit the nail on the head, Randy. It's youth. It's getting to learn the game. And really, you want to talk about a kid that's never really played football. Last year, he only was participating in 4 games as a freshman. And with the departure of Javen early in this, in this season preparation, he had to be thrust into a situation that he might not have been comfortable with. And he's dealt with the pressure, probably the best I've seen a young kid at that age be able to do so. And he's wearing it well. And the one thing that he did last week is he garnered the trust of his teammates. And they now believe in him. And that's a dangerous weapon to have when you're that young of a guy coming into a huddle and you have to command everybody's respect, including that offensive line. They got to want to fight and block for you. Those receivers have to believe when they're at the end of their routes that ball is going to be on their hands right now. And you started to see that last week. I mean, he threw 21 for 30, 70% completion percentage. I mean, that's tremendous for that young of a kid. So he's getting to the point where we need him to be, and it's only going to get better from there.
Well, Jason, we've known each other for a while. Good luck. You've done a great job. You won a city title. You've only been there a few years. The man to you right next to us that you brought with us is a quality young man coming back from a shoulder injury. I wish him well. He obviously performed well in his first week. So life is good for Jake Shirley. Hopefully the football team will respond. Should be a great game. Brent Huff's got his football team ready at Heritage Christian. They got a great running back in McCullough. It'll be a chore for Shirley to chase him down. Should be a really good football game, and we'll see you guys Saturday night. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us. Really appreciate it.
All right, Jason Sabolic, Jake Shirley, El Camino Real.
The Royals.
The Royals.
But the mascot's a bear. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm just saying, that's the truth. I don't
Formerly
know.
the Conquistadors.
The Conquistadores.
Yeah.
That's right.
Where does ECR want to be? They want to be in the top 10 in the city. Well, we're not going to put them in the top 10 yet.
They got to earn it.
They tickled the
that's all
top
that
10
is.
last year,
That's
believe
all
it or not.
that
They were
is.
right up around the
They
top 10
got to earn it, that's all.
last year. But, well, it starts with a potential win on Saturday.
That's true.
So let's take a look at this top 10 that we have here. Birmingham ranked number 1, 60-0 over Royal?
Yeah.
Royal beat them last year.
Don't be surprised. I'm just throwing it out there. Don't be surprised if Birmingham beats Notre Dame Sherman Oaks this week. I think they're that good. That's
No,
that's who
agree
they
with
play
you.
on Friday. Well, that's who they play tomorrow. So just don't be surprised. If Birmingham beats Notre Dame Sherman Oaks, no one's beaten Birmingham in the city.
No one's going to
Just
beat them
write
in
it
the
up.
city anyway.
Oh, well,
Garfield's
you never
0-1,
know.
but they played Cathedral to a high-scoring,
Agreed.
freewheeling
Yep.
game. Garfield's good.
Good game, and very, very, yeah. When you play against Cathedral, it's a formidable opponent in the southern section. That's a good one for Garfield. Franklin is, it says 0-1 up there, but they have a tie. They actually tied. Franklin and Granada tied
It should be
last week.
0-1-0.
Or 0-0-1. There's a couple different ways you could put it, but yes.
You want to argue about that? Let's discuss how you.
let's not do that. But
first
hold on.
of all,
I wanna
ties
talk
are
about
real
Granada
rare.
Franklin. Hold on. They tied. Listen to this story really quick. They tied 28-28, and the coaches came out after regulation and decided to call hey,
tie, yeah.
let's just call this a tie. I've never heard that before. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes.
Okay, coaches sometimes they agree beforehand.
I
hey,
know that, but
if it
I've
goes in
seen it.
overtime, we're going to decide.
I've seen coaches.
But after?
Yeah, I've seen coaches do a lot of crazy things. I saw one game where one team was getting hammered and they decided to run the clock in the second quarter. So I mean,
that I understand because humiliation. But
Right.
who defers a potential to win?
First of all, it's smart. I'll tell you why. Because it's a game that has implications to get to the Open Division. They have another big game tonight, Franklin, against Carson's being played simultaneously with this show. So a tie does not hurt them.
I didn't say it wasn't smart. That's
By
a
both
fair
coaches.
point. That's a fair point because they're looking at the Cal Preps ranking, going, hey, this tie could help both of us.
That's right.
Or it'll hurt both of us. Either way, we're in the same boat.
So, yeah, I think it helps both.
Okay.
We got to move on. Where are we in the
I
show?
thought it was a good
forgot
topic.
already.
I don't know.
Oh, we're in the top 10. That's what we did. All right, so
I thought he was bringing it back.
he may not, and I don't blame him if he doesn't.
There it is.
Larry knows
Okay.
what to do. We got San Pedro. They haven't played
yeah,
yet.
Frank
Banning,
Carson.
Cleveland, my sleeper team. By the way, that running back, Donovan Powell,
Yes,
big
sir.
game. I
Very
really like
good,
him.
very good.
Venice always is good. Carson, who had a big win to open the season, and Palisades, who beat El Camino Real. No surprises there.
Garfield is at Crespi tomorrow. So we could have those two top teams beat Southern Section teams on Friday, which is always a little feather in the cap for those teams.
Not good news at Jefferson High School. They have to forfeit a football game this week. Not enough kids coming out, and that's a problem in the inner city. They lost their first game big. That is an issue.
Okay, I'm asking, and I'm no shame. Is Jefferson a Coliseum League team or
Yes.
no? They are.
They have been.
Okay.
Yeah, over the years.
It's that I think you nailed it. It's just one of those schools that's being hit by the interest of football, and I think some other kids would rather play something else, and they don't have enough guys, so they got to cancel games.
Yeah, not enough kids. They lost the first game 55-0 to St. Anthony. Reseda football, I put down on my notes here, the downfall of the Regents. This is just a couple years ago. Reseda was playing for championships in the LA City section. Alonzo Areola is let go, and suddenly the football team can't win a game.
Can't win a game, and I want to say, I tweeted it, they've been outscored in the past year and some change, something like 294 to 36 or something, bad times over at Reseda. I don't even think they played 10 games last year because players they didn't have enough players.
Right, and they lost 36-0 in the opener to Fairfax, and the Lions appear to have a pretty good football team. All right, some key games tomorrow night. We may not get to all of these, but it starts with Mater Dei, again, going to Utah. Bingham's good. They've played an extra game already. Mater Dei should win.
2-0 Mater Dei, done. Next.
Okay, that's good. That's moving the show along. This is difficult.
Yeah,
that's difficult.
That'll be a fun game. Again, that's one of the beauties of these programs, being able to give the experience to their student athletes, getting on the road, and eating meals and finding a way to sleep and traveling. So they're playing in Fort Lauderdale.
All right, we'll do two more games because we're running out of time. Orange Lutheran at Concord de La Salle.
Orange Lutheran is a team that's on the rise. That's why I put them up in the top 10. I think they'll win.
Sierra Canyon at Oaks Christian.
Big one. The last 4 times they've played, 2-2, so rubber match.
Okay, let's see, what other game? You want to talk about another game?
Yeah, let's keep going. I'll make it quick. Come on, we got time.
You're doing good.
We got 2 minutes. TV time. It's a million years.
Yeah, but we got to tell them what we're doing this week. And there it is, Gardena of Sarah against Warren.
I'm still holding out hope for Sarah. I think they get back to 1-1.
Can you say the quarterback's name at Warren? I am Leva.
Oh, is it Madden? I am Leva?
Yeah, it's the younger brother. Yeah, it's good. You're doing good.
Same bottom. Okay, battle of this is like a neighborhood game, like the battle of
this
Ventura
is huge.
County.
This is huge.
Ventura County. Give me St. Bonaventure though.
Yeah, their offensive line is great. They got Big Thor up front. You know Torgerson at all?
I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
He's got long hair, brings the big hammer
Okay,
out.
this game, I don't know if you knew, this is like an NFL-sponsored game. They're playing in Beaverton, Oregon. I don't know if you knew that. This isn't like a game in Nevada or a game here in Long Beach. It's a game in Oregon, and it's on TV somewhere up there. So
That's
like a fun.
That's great information.
NFL's in there.
It's on TV somewhere. That really tells you
I don't know where
to
you
go.
can watch it, but it's on TV somewhere. Research it. I just know that they're making a big deal out of it, and it's played. It's two
those are
teams
great
playing in a different
programs
state. I think it's cool.
Yeah, Bishop Gorman's from Nevada, and then
Gardena Crenshaw, huh?
Well, they're both 1-0,
snuck
so I had
in
to throw
huh?
that up there.
Whoa, what a barn burner. I don't know.
Hey,
Give
Crenshaw's
me,
got Robert Garrett. What a great coach.
I think Gardena's going to win that game.
Okay, why not? All right, what are you doing this weekend?
I'll be at Oaks Sierra Canyon.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll be at El Camino Real.
Who do you got in that game? Come on.
Are they off? If they're not listening, I got to go with Heritage.
Maybe the Warriors.
Okay, and live every Wednesday. I got a promo to throw in here.
Okay.
My friends, Bob and Rich. Rich and Bob.
Are we getting a promo on their show?
I hope so. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on LA 36. There it is. I'm just reading it as it's on the monitor. They do a good job. It's an hour show. They get an hour in.
More power to them.
We have enough trouble getting through one half hour.
I think we do
show.
a pretty good job.
That's all right. I'm happy for Mike Moustakas. He's playing well. The former Chatsworth baseball player. He's doing a great job for the Angels, even though the team is slumping badly.
Ohtani. They shut him down.
Yeah, well, we're not talking pros.
Okay.
This is a Chatsworth tie-in. And Darryl Strawberry is getting his number retired, the former Crenshaw star for the Mets.
Okay. No, I
We
thought
had
it was,
fun.
I thought
That's
it was
it.
relevant.
That's it. That's the whole roster.
Okay. All right. No, it was a good show. We'll be back next week.
I'm going to be at the Hall of Fame on Saturday in the morning.
That's awesome.
California Hall of
Got to
Fame.
give a
at the
shout out
Rose
to
Bowl.
Eric Sondheimer. Come on.
Yeah, he's in.
He's in, Hall of Famer.
California
More power to
State
him.
Hall of Fame. I mean, some of the great football names of all time, and Eric Sondheimer going in on Saturday. Tarek, I'll see you next week. I'll study SB Live.
Correct.
That's your.
Sports Illustrated, man.
Hey,
You know.
you're tied into Sports Illustrated.
correct.
That's a jump.
It is. Thank you.
That's it for tonight. We'll see you next week with a lot more. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Tarek, I'm Randy. See you next time. Goodbye.
You know, I was always kind of wondering, what's your
show's
favorite
off.
donut?
Huh?
Your favorite donut? What
I
kind of
don't know.
donut? You like a glazed?
No, I
Are
do
you
not
a
like
maple
glazed.
bar guy?
I like chocolate chip and stuff like that. I
Oh,
like
okay.
chocolate.
You like the junky stuff.